Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. Will Ridge cheat on Brooke in Italy? Taylor may face difficulties as a result of the location shoot. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor Hayes may have difficulties as a result of some location filming adjustments. In Italy, will Ridge Forrester cheat on Brooke Logan? Bradley Bell, the executive producer and head writer of B&B, revealed in January that a large-scale location shoot would take place in 2025. Fans were undoubtedly intrigued by all the possibilities, even though Bell didn't give any specifics. The show's supervising producer, Casey Kasperzik, has now provided additional information regarding upcoming developments. Kasperzik shared a photo of his brief vacation to Italy on Instagram, where he researched places in Capri and Naples. Following his statement that he was eager to return, Kasperzik advised B&B fans to stay tuned. Rome was the site of The Bold and the Beautiful's most recent location shoot in 2023, but the show has frequently used Italy as a backdrop over the years. One thing to look forward to is the possibility that Capri and Naples will now appear on television. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful: will Ridge cheat on Brooke in Italy? Will Taylor have problems during the location shoot? Naturally, if this Italy plan goes as planned, no information has yet been released regarding which characters will be included. But since Torsten Kay and Catherine Kelly Lang are well-known artists abroad, it's likely that they'll join the trip. It is conceivable that Brooke and Ridge could become closer in Italy when Taylor is away due to some Forrester business. Once they become enmeshed in the romantic ambience and old feelings, Ridge may even cheat on Brooke. Ridge knew Brooke was his destiny the last time he traveled to Italy with her. Is it possible that Ridge could have another epiphany during this Italy location filming that may ruin his relationship with Taylor? History has shown that Ridge and Brooke can never be apart for very long, but only time will tell. Taylor's hopes of a bright future with Ridge are wishful thinking because Brooke and Ridge will always be reunited by fate. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge will eventually encounter some temptations, so keep an eye out. When Taylor defeats Brooke, Ridge's fate shifts. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor Hayes defeated Brooke Logan via knockout. By declaring to Logan that he was still dedicated to Taylor, Ridge Forrester put an end to an era. Brooke thought Taylor was a distraction and was confident Ridge would come back to her. The destiny line, pitch, belief, or whatever you want to call Bridge, is finished, and it wasn't. Ridge didn't plan for Taylor's return to Los Angeles, California, to be a play. She wanted to make amends with her family since she believed that death was near. However, a cardiac diagnosis that was thought to be terminal wasn't accurate. There was never a chance of heart failure. Indeed, Taylor's heart was failing her, but not to the point where it was killing her. Rather, she endured the consequences of decades of yearning for Ridge and, more recently, losing him to Brooke. When Krista Allen presented her alternative interpretation of this legendary character in recent years, the plotline that developed was worthwhile. At that point in the story, Ridge lost faith in Brooke and went to Taylor. However, Ridge decided that Taylor had violated his trust and left her. Since his decision was unchangeable, Brooke and he reunited once more. Taylor's perspective was broadened by her transformative experience. She had a new perspective on Ridge, her family, and herself. Taylor knew that being with Ridge would be detrimental to her health, therefore she wasn't desperate. Ridge and Taylor were able to bond in ways they hadn't in years thanks to the sessions they had with the healer at the Cliff home. They had a forced bond that held firm and that Brooke, shockingly, was unable to break. The Italian Days and Nights of Brooke Logan. Brooke and Ridge's supernatural reunion in Italy suggested that fate was at work. A fantastic revival love tale was created when Ridge saw the apparent love of his life through the keyhole, as fans also saw in numerous backstage replays. Fans of this duo were having a great time in soap opera land. They seemed to be living the destiny Brooke had so frequently alluded to over the years, and they were happy. Then Taylor reappeared out of nowhere. Therefore, Brooke and Ridge experienced a time of rebirth during one of B&B's amazing location shoots. However, it did not stand for permanence. Taylor Hayes is the free choice of Ridge Forrester. Taylor's previous failures were as a result of her pursuit of Ridge. In this case, he went after her. Taylor came out as needy, which wasn't appealing. Ridge was neither moved by it nor moved to look away from Brooke's euphoric gaze. Ridge could compare his alternatives for a long period. Both women stand for true love and wholesome family traditions. However, Brooke and Taylor were aware that they couldn't let Ridge keep them both on a soap opera. Brooke is then compelled to look for a new future because of Ridge's determination to stay with Taylor. That sets up Lang's next, probably interesting plot point. Do you support Bill and Brooke's marriage? According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge Forrester has again won Brooke Logan's heart. We believe she doesn't learn. Would you have so pitifully pleaded with him to return to her in front of Taylor Hayes, his girlfriend? Pfft. What will happen to Tsav next? And now defend her if you would disagree with such name. While some fans believe that Brooke should mature and provide a better example for her mini-me daughter Hope Logan, others believe that it's time for her to reunite with Bill Spencer. What comes next for Brooke? However, because Bill is available, homewrecker Brooke might not be interested in him. For Brooke, what fun is it to pursue a single man? She enjoys the rush of the hunt and repeatedly demonstrates her lack of morality. We believe that she would do better with Remy Price. But now that Ridge is making Brooke look bad, it's a fantastic opportunity for her to do what she does best, put on her underwear. Honestly, do you think Bill would turn her down? Relationship objectives for Bill and Brooke. Bill needs some consolation because he is a pariah for securing Luna Nozawa's pardon, and we can see Brill sobbing on each other's shoulder. After evicting Luna, he has a void in the mansion, and now would be an ideal moment for the stallion to show up. Since Luna needs someone to hold against herself right now, we don't think Brooke would hold her against Bill because he has worse things going on. Brooke needs a man. When Brooke most needs consolation, we believe Bill will be the one to provide it. He will be especially willing to assist Brooke because he hates the dressmaker, which doesn't harm. Do you think Brill is a relationship goal? Tell us, BNB lovers. Alternatively, do you believe that Brooke should finally grow up and be independent? According to shocking spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke needs to examine her future and who she depends on. The Bold and the Beautiful's main love triangle, which includes Brooke Logan, Ridge Forrester, and Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, has long been supported by Catherine Kelly Lang, who has played Brooke Logan since the show's debut. Although there isn't a direct statement from Lang calling the triangle magic in the search results, her portrayal and the storyline's ongoing popularity show that she understood the narrative power and attractiveness of the triangle. Based on recent arcs of the program and fan discussion, the following is an analysis of the mechanics of the triangle, Brooke's involvement, and Lang's inferred perspective. 1. The Brooke, Ridge, and Taylor saga's persistent magic. The triangle's decades-long existence highlights its fundamental function in BNB's narrative. Lang's depiction of Brooke's unrelenting search for Ridge in the face of constant heartbreak emphasizes the character's resiliency and tenderness. Fans denounced the recent episode's depiction of Brooke begging Ridge to get back together despite his decision to choose Taylor as regressive 18. However, the plot remains interesting because of Lang's dedication to Brooke's emotional complexity, which oscillates between defiance and desperation. Brooke's terrible dedication is exemplified by her resolve to recover Forrester creations for Ridge, only to be rejected by him 37. Even if it is divisive, this cyclical dynamic is nonetheless important to the drama of the play. 2. Fan reactions and Brooke's emotional chaos. Lang's portrayal in the March 2025 episodes portrayed Brooke's unfiltered grief following Ridge's rejection, which led to a furious altercation with her daughter Hope. "You are not my daughter," Brooke yelled in the emotional climax, accusing Hope of losing Ridge, before they made amends in a tearful embrace. 7. Layered on top of the romantic triangle, this mother-daughter conflict gives Brooke's character more dimension by highlighting how her obsession with Ridge strains other relationships. Brooke's constant humiliation has angered fans, who have criticized the writers for making her into a pitiful figure 8. Even when Brooke makes decisions that defy reason, Lang's nuanced characterization makes sure she is nonetheless likable. 3. The Taylor Factor, a resurgent rivalry. The rivalry has been rekindled by Taylor's return to Los Angeles and her newfound infatuation with Ridge, with Steffi, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, supporting her mother's triumph over Brooke 7. The emotional stakes of the triangle are highlighted by contrasting Brooke's desperation with Taylor's joyous occasions, such as root beer floats with Steffi. Fans are dubious despite Taylor's assertion that Ridge has changed, pointing to his past indecision. 16. The triangle's ongoing tension is highlighted by Lang's ability to portray Brooke's silent destruction in these scenes, such as her lonesome sobbing, in stark contrast to Taylor's victorious attitude. 4. Creative difficulties and audience fatigue. The triangle has drawn criticism for being repetitious despite Lang's commitment. Brooke and Taylor's rivalry, according to critics, diminishes their agency and reduces them to fighting over a man who has dumped them both repeatedly. 18. Because of how it depicted female conflict, the March 27 episode, which aired during Women's History Month, attracted special attention. 6. However, the series' persistence on re-airing Brooke/Ridge, and Tridge, Taylor/Ridge, points to the triangle's potential for success. Even if the central tension remains, Lang's ability to bring new life to Brooke's desire, such as her hesitant alliance with Taylor in previous arcs, hints at possible development. 5. The legacy of Lang and the future of the triangle. Lang's stay as a member of BMB's initial cast is entwined with Brooke's romantic journey. Brooke may briefly leave Los Angeles to reorganize 3, according to recent storylines, but her unavoidable return will probably rekindle the triangle. Whether facing corporate takeovers or family conflicts, Lang's depiction of Brooke's tenacity guarantees that the character will always be essential to the show's identity. The magic of the triangle is not in its originality but rather in its capacity to reflect the intricacies of love, grief, and rebirth that Lang has so brilliantly portrayed for more than 30 years. In conclusion, even though Catherine Kelly Lang hasn't used the word magic to describe the Brooke-Ridge-Taylor triangle specifically, her decades-long devotion to Brooke's journey shows that she understands the narrative power of the triangle. Even while it provokes controversy, the plot's fusion of passion, treachery, and redemption never fails to enthrall viewers, a tribute to Lang's lasting influence and BMB's skill at striking a balance between tradition and conflict. Let me start by figuring out what the user is requesting. Hope's Hurt and Sheila's ultimatum and add the sentence, "Tune in to see the drama in Los Angeles." These two plotlines should be covered in a thorough, interesting paragraph. Because it's about a television drama, most likely a soap opera or something similar that takes place in Los Angeles. I should start by outlining the two main components, Sheila's ultimatum and Hope's Hurt. These are probably two distinct storylines that coincide or cross paths. I have to develop the circumstances of each character. Hope's Hurt alludes to either physical or emotional suffering. Perhaps she is coping with a personal loss, a secret, or a betrayal. Sheila's ultimatum suggests a pivotal moment in her life, possibly involving another character, at which she makes a harsh demand. Los Angeles is where I need to establish the atmosphere, so I'm including aspects of the city, such as glitz, luxury, secrets, and fast-paced lifestyle. The paragraph should be dramatic and tense to captivate readers. As with soap operas, the tone should be emotional and perhaps a little spectacular. For Hope's story, let's imagine she finds out about a betrayal after becoming a prominent woman, perhaps in the entertainment or business sectors. Perhaps one of her business partners is embezzling, or her partner is unfaithful. She experiences emotional upheaval as a result. Her relationships and choices may be impacted by her hurt, which could result in her demise or salvation. Sheila's challenge: she might be a strong woman, a matriarch, or a cunning entrepreneur. She may be issuing the ultimatum to a relative or an adversary. She might, for instance, demand that someone quit the family business, divulge a secret, or face repercussions. High stakes and conflict result from this. Crossing over between these stories, perhaps Hope's predicament is related to Sheila's demand. Sheila, for example, uses Hope's treachery as leverage because she is aware of it. Or perhaps Hope's actions unintentionally cause Sheila to issue her ultimatum. As their stories meet, the drama intensifies. I have to raise the stakes, make references to previous disputes, and prepare for more confrontations. Add things like lies, secrets, power conflicts, and poignant moments. Paint vivid pictures of Los Angeles using evocative words, highlighting its opulent settings, rough neighborhoods, and famous monuments. Include the provided line organically, most likely as a teaser at the end. Make sure the paragraph makes sense and that each sentence builds on the one before it, keeping the reader interested and tense. To appeal to the target audience, steer clear of clichés and instead use well-known genre motifs. Make use of transitions to demonstrate the relationship between Hope and Sheila's stories, possibly switching between them. Possible format: introduce Hope's current predicament, start with the LA setting, and then explore her feelings and the betrayal. The focus should then shift to Sheila, her reasons, and the directive she is giving. Demonstrate the connection between their worlds, perhaps by a shared experience or acquaintance. Build to the final teaser sentence, which is the point at which their stories collide. Assure character depth by highlighting Sheila's brutality and latent weaknesses as well as Hope's strength and vulnerability. Perhaps allude to their prior traumas or redeemable traits that motivate their behavior. To fully engage the reader, use sensory elements such as the sounds of the city, the tension in a confrontation scene, or the lavishness of a party when secrets are disclosed. Steer clear of information dumps and include background information into the action and dialogue, possibly mentioning dialogues indirectly, even though it's only a paragraph. Maintain a fast tempo while allowing for reflective moments to emphasize different emotional states. Possible difficulties: preserving the uninterrupted flow of a single paragraph. To make it interesting, use a variety of sentence forms, ensuring that there is no repetition and that the 1,500-word limit is reached. Perhaps add supporting characters or subplots that have an effect on the major stories. Verify the coherence of Hope and Sheila's stories by seeing if they make sense together. Are the stakes compelling and obvious? Does the setting serve to heighten the drama? Make sure the hook is strong from the start to capture attention, tighten any repetitive parts, add dramatic moments, and make sure the teaser line at the end has an impact. Two women stand on the brink of life-altering decisions in the sun-drenched sprawl of Los Angeles, where the Pacific breeze whispers of ambition and the glittering skyline conceals a maze of secrets. Their stories weave a tapestry of betrayal, power, and redemption that promises to shatter the brittle facades of those around them. Hope Montgomery, the radiant heiress to a media conglomerate whose name was once associated with unwavering elegance, is currently adrift in a storm of heartbreak, her world shattered by a betrayal so severe that it threatens to overshadow the heritage she has battled to preserve. A pixelated screenshot of her husband James engaged with an anonymous lady in a dimly lit hotel bar, with a timestamp of 2:17 a.m. on the night he had claimed to be confined in a board meeting, was the first clue. Her carefully planned life was upended when the anonymous yet damning image appeared in her inbox like a ghost. Hope's pain is not the kind that weeps quietly, rather, it simmers beneath her calm exterior, a silent tempest mirrored in her jaw tighten as she looks out from her rooftop terrace at the expansive metropolis, which once supported her family's empire but now feels like a golden cage. The gaps in James's alibis are growing, though, as evidenced by the missed dinners, the whispered phone conversations, and the perfume of jasmine, which she has never worn, clinging to his collar. Her friends warn her, "You need proof, Hope." A darker reality, however, adds to Hope's suffering. The Montgomery's empire, which was founded on her grandfather's newspaper legacy, is on the verge of going bankrupt. She has been fiercely protecting this fact, even from James. He may destroy everything she's given up to defend if he's planning an escape. Across town, in the shady neighborhoods of Beverly Hills, where influential people plot behind ivy-covered gates, Sheila Carlisle, the unwavering CEO of Carlisle Industries, is getting ready to reveal something shocking that will shake the elite of Los Angeles. Sheila, a lady whose name conjures up equal parts fear and awe, has never held back when speaking. Her retaliation is rapid and her demands are legendary. The stakes are personal this time, though. Even Sheila's immense power cannot undo the damage that her youngest son, Ethan, has done. A hit-and-run scandal that was hidden for months by bribed witnesses and a complicit police captain is now in danger of coming to light after an anonymous tipster gave a determined investigative reporter access to footage. In its simplest form, Sheila's proposal is brutal. Ethan will go to rehab and publicly admit to a lesser charge, a DUI gone wrong, saving the Carlisle name by portraying himself as the remorseful heir looking for atonement. However, Ethan, who is erratic and arrogant, declines to serve as his mother's pawn once more. The veins in his neck throb as he growls, "I won't take the fall for your image." Sheila's steely gaze narrows, and her voice is like a blade of ice, "You'll do as I say, or you'll learn what it means to have nothing." Ethan is unaware that Sheila's ultimatum isn't just about keeping face, it's about safeguarding a much darker secret hidden in the Carlisle vault, one that relates to a night 20 years ago when a young intern disappeared following a gala at the family estate. Her disappearance was covered up by Sheila's then COO, a man who is now vying for governor. The media frenzy could uncover bones Sheila has long thought were buried if Ethan's situation blows out. Hope discovers an unexpected connection as her search for answers takes her down a rabbit hole of encrypted emails and shell corporations, each clue making her stomach turn. The leaker targeting the Carlisles shares a digital footprint with the anonymous tipster who revealed James's infidelity. At a charity dinner sponsored by the Montgomerys, where LA's finest assemble to sip champagne and swap lies beneath crystal chandeliers, Sheila's business dealings and her marital issue abruptly clash. In the midst of the staged glitz, Hope stands up to James, her voice quivering with rage and desperation as she demands the truth. However, Sheila's appearance interrupts, the elder woman's presence throwing a cloud over the room. With an unusually frantic tone, Sheila leads Hope into a hidden nook and murmurs, "We need to talk." What follows is a bombshell that completely changes everything. Hope discovers that James's affair was a well-planned ploy, a diversion designed by Sheila to keep Hope too distracted to notice the forensic accountants from Carlisle Industries auditing the Montgomerys' financial records. Hope's organization, a rival media outlet with a wealth of embarrassing documents regarding the Carlisle family's background, is Sheila's real aim, not her marriage. "Sell to me," Sheila insists, her offer tinged with bitter sweetness, "and I'll erase your husband's sins." But even if Hope is hurt, she is not a pawn. "If you refuse, I will make sure that everyone sees you as the idiot who led a guy to ruin her birthright." She feels a fire in her veins from the same tenacity that drove her to save her grandfather's dying newspaper. To expose Sheila's financial misconduct, she boldly teams up with Ethan, the disgraced heir who is out to get revenge on his mother, and uses his insider knowledge of Carlisle Industries' offshore accounts. However, the risk increases as their agreement does. Ethan's carelessness conflicts with Hope's strategic determination, and Sheila, ever the strategist, responds by disclosing Hope's financial difficulties to the media, which leads to a shareholder uprising. While James, overcome with guilt, rushes to atone by learning the truth about Sheila's blackmail, he discovers a forgotten safe deposit box that holds pictures of Sheila and the missing intern, a smoking gun that could end her reign. The battle lines are drawn in blood and ink, played out in boardrooms and tabloid headlines. However, in Los Angeles, the brutal exchange truth as a commodity and power as a currency. Alliances break down and covert plans emerge as Hope and Sheila race toward a confrontation at a coastal cliffside mansion, the surf roaring below like a portent of mayhem. Will Hope decide between redemption and retribution? Will Sheila be able to escape the ghosts of her past? And when the masks finally come off in a city founded on lies and illusions, who will be left to bear the consequences? Watch the drama unfold in Los Angeles.